So this is for my house at 4231 Woodbridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I've been worried about this for days that my computer would blow up.
Oh, okay. Just 1 minute. I corner my nose.
Okay?
Okay, thank you. Hi, just coming in 1 minute. Next, my husband is Yun Hong Liu. Is for the house, for the house, owner.
Uh, I don't
I say
I don't
this
understand.
my husband is for the house owner.
What I'm the owner of the house.
It's 40
4231 Woodbridge.
no, it's 40 it's a 1 4 14 16 40 faith.
No. 4231 Woodbridge
Oh yeah.
is
Okay.
my house.
Oh, sorry. 那要等一下，那就不送了。
And it's supposed to be Maurice Rulins, the person in charge.
Oh, okay. We didn't have there. Sorry.
All right, please fix it.
没有，他是另外一个人，组织者，这是马尔。
为什么他们前台跟我说已经开始了？
没有，我弄错了。
OK，吓死！
是另外一个。
Hello?
Hello，
Okay. This is for 4231 Woodbridge 44109. Mark Goodman.
I'm sorry. We also come here for the hearing.
Well, okay, who am I speaking to when the hearing starts?
I
This is
don't know.
Mr.
I don't know.
Maurice
We
Rulins.
also come here waiting for the hearing.
Right. Well, yeah, so I don't need, so I'm waiting for Mr. Rulins. Who's in charge there?
I don't know. We also one of the people who come to join the hearing, so we have no idea at all.
Well, that's no good.
We still have time. The hearing is set for 9:30.
Yes.
Right now it's 9:17, so we just patiently wait.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Nice talking to you, sir.
Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Send me a picture of the transmission of your piano and I can see the lower break. Let's all do it. 20 seconds is a very short time. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hear ya.
Okay, great. And you are Maurice? Hello? I can't hear you. Are you speaking to me?
No one's probably speaking to you, sir. They haven't completely started the meeting yet.
Okay, very good. I just want to make sure my computer's working.
No problem.
Thank you. Although this old tortoise is much better looking.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Mr. Rulins? Okay, in compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions from the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or the facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located at the bottom of the WebEx screen. Call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded by way of the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed by way of YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter by way of our website and email have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Mr. Jacobson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Dan Jacobson from the Law Department Preliminary Matters. Can we verify that the live stream is on and functioning?
Yes, the live stream.
And Mr. Chairman, as the Law Department has done since these meetings have gone virtual and are hybrid, law objects to the use of the chat function. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Davis?
Mr. Maschke?
Here.
Mr. Bradley? Mr. Dink?
Here.
Do we have Mr. Bradley? You're muted, Mr. Bradley.
Here.
Mr. Gallagher?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, we'll call the first case was docket A4523 has been withdrawn. Second case, docket A4723 has been postponed till August 16th. And so we'll move on to the first docket we're going to call is going to be docket A2623, 4090 East 176th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is HVAC issued on January 4th of 2023. Appeal was received February 4th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Jamal Ward.
Okay, Mr. Ward, You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
So we plan to abate the violations. Right now, we are in um eviction court, trying to get the tenant out. The tenant was posing pushback as far as the contractors coming in to be able to abate the violations in a safe working order. She has some big dogs, and she refused to take the dogs outside, and they were hitting the cages, and just the contractor just felt uncomfortable. So they refused to pretty much work on the property. They just left. So we got her in. She's in eviction court right now. The judge filed a continuance due to we had to submit some paperwork showing that the lease was terminated, and she was a part of like a housing assistance program, but it was terminated. So we had to show the paperwork showing that it was terminated and that her lease was not, there was month-to-month lease going on. So that's what we submitted, and we're just waiting right now.
Do you have an idea on how much time it would take to correct the violation?
Soon as she's evicted, we're going to go right at the violations. Actually, I was like 90 days, no more, no less. But
okay, let me go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we don't object to 90 days with the understanding that once this tenant is removed, the property will stay vacant until all the violations are corrected.
Okay, so we're looking at November 2nd, 90 days, 2023, to abate the violations with if the property to remain vacant during that particular time until it's resolved. Motion?
Move.
Motion by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Okay, notification will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next docket is gonna be A51 23 4072 Fulton Road.
application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior maintenance issued on February 8th of 2023. Appeal was received March 9th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violation. This board did receive an email from Councilman Hirsch, who could not be here this morning. In the email, he stated that he does not agree that this appellant should receive any additional time, but he do rely on this body to make a sound and good decision.
Okay.
Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Good morning, members of the board. Joe Strake, attorney for WP Fulton SPE LLC.
Okay, was that Fulton?
Yes.
Strake, Straka?
Strake, yes.
Yes, okay. Mr. Straka, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what the plans are.
All right, thank you. Members of the board, it's my understanding that these matters, all of them, this is not a big list, a relatively short list. All these matters have been abated, taken care of, and actually everything on the list has been replaced. Nothing even had to be repaired. They were all replaced. This was done in April and May. It's my understanding that the inspector reviewed it in May and approved everything. So I'm not sure if Mr. Hirsch is aware of something I'm not aware of, but it's my understanding that everything's been resolved and abated, and we don't need nothing further. I think everything's been taken care of. I'll ask for guidance from the board as to what the next step is, though.
Okay, we'll go over to Mr. Vanover. He should have the answers to that.
Mr. Chairman, this violation notice, the according to the inspection record, it has been closed as compliance final.
Okay, so we'll give today's date. Would that work?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Motion is in order to have the be in compliance by August 2nd, 2023. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All right, moved by Mr. Maskey, second by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, a notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, members.
Next docket, 85723, 10508 Linden Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance, issued on February 22nd of 2023. Appeal received March 16th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Joseph Pacino.
Okay, Mr. Pacino, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
We're still trying to find a contractor that's willing to take on the project. There's a bunch of variables in this type of project just because it is a commercial parking lot. And we've been getting quotes all over the place. I tried to move forward on a couple of the quotes, and either there's scheduling conflicts with the contractors or they just don't want to deal with the project. Because again, once we get into doing work on the commercial end of things, there's a lot of variables as far as drainage and engineering and all that. And the parking lot's not in dangerous condition, but it's beyond the point of just a Band-Aid repair. Like I can't just throw a little bit of a patch over it and call it good, because that's just going to make things worse. At this point, given schedules from what I've heard from various contractors, we're probably looking at next spring. When we started approaching them in February, March, and up to current now, their schedules are pretty much packed up as far as contractors that are able to do the project as well as able to pull the proper permits and everything required for this project.
Okay, bring in Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, when did you take possession of this property? How long have you owned it?
Since May of 22.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, I understand that there may be challenges finding the contractor, but this parking lot was in this condition when it was purchased. And it was no secret that this was the condition of the property. So right now, it doesn't sound like there's a definitive date. We don't object to more time, but it can't be open-ended. So we don't object to 90 days to make the corrections, but this condition was existing when it was purchased, and the condition of the parking lot influences the purchase price. So this was a business decision, and we're receiving complaints and concerns about it. That's why we were there. So we would ask for a limited amount of time to make the repairs.
Okay, so I think I heard, and you have your hand up, Mr. Pacino, and I heard you did say you were thinking that it would be in the springtime, but that would be a long time. So go ahead and respond.
So yeah, I understand that the parking lot was in bad condition. It wasn't in this bad of condition. When we did purchase it, it was less than a year from the time we purchased it to the violation was made. We had been looking for contractors, but by the time we took possession of the property and all the dust settled and we got our hands and everything in, last summer was over. That brought us into winter time, and this violation was issued still in the winter time once we purchased the property. Yes, I can't say or not exactly if the parking lot influenced the price of the purchase. I believe the price of what we paid for the buildings are relevant in this case. This is also probably upwards of a $30,000 plus project to repair on a small 6-unit building full of efficiencies. When we did get the building, we've been in the process of trying to evict a couple of the residents. Rents were low and, you know, we're gonna need more time. I can't influence when, like, I can't say that it can be done in 90 days. Like I said, we're still trying to find contractors. It's not like it's a simple residential driveway or it's a couple sidewalk blocks and you repair it. It's kind of a large, extensive project. And again, the cost of this project is upwards, if not over $30,000. And I can't say, working with the city of Cleveland in the past, that they're even capable of getting me permits in 90 days with the process I'll have to go through. You know, just getting the permits approved once we get a contractor who's capable to pull the permits. Because when I inquired with the building department about it, there's a lot of questionable areas as far as what we're gonna have to do, if we can just pull what's there, replace it. You know, they want a lot of details that are a little bit above my pay grade that I would have to put onto the contractor because I can't speak on the contractor's behalf. And I certainly can't just rip this up, throw it in my pick 'em up truck and start mixing bags of concrete, because that's not gonna suffice. You know, we are into August, and like I said, I'm still trying to locate a contractor that's capable, that meets your city's requirements to do the work. That's why in going into winter, I don't know if it's gonna be a good winter or a bad winter, if they're able to pour concrete. And I don't wanna take that gamble on $30,000 in concrete that, you know, they're gonna try to push their luck to pour this concrete. And then next year, you're gonna be violating me on my brand new concrete because it starts to crack. So I'm asking that, you know, we're given till spring of next year, to have everything up and going.
Okay, Mr. Vanover, this actually sounds like it may need to be remanded. A lot of unknowns here, and I don't know what's your thoughts on it.
Mr. Chairman, that would be my request. It's again, you know, this is a business decision. I mean, all of the things that are required to do this are things that, when you're a corporation in the business of real estate acquisition and development, these are all things that I'm sure were considered prior to the purchase, and if not, should have been. So we do ask that, without having a solid date of completion, we would ask that you deny any more time and remand it back to the department.
Okay, so that's the course I believe we're gonna take. So a motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
So you'll be sent a notice within 2 weeks, but basically you just go ahead and proceed. Take care of it as soon as possible. That would be what I would tell you was the best course of action at this point. Thank you.
Well, I was gonna give a date to set, but you didn't see my hand raised.
Well, it's okay, because whatever the date is, you go ahead and get them to work on it, and you're all set. I mean, it doesn't change anything other than you just need to get it done, and the city will be looking over your shoulder, making sure you get it done.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, next docket. We got docket A 11223, 5604 Cedar Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is elevator, issued on April 25th of 2023. Appeal was received May 24th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record? Is Ms. Moorhead here? Mr. Chairman, I do not see, I see several call-in users. If you are a call-in user, hit *6 to identify yourself, please. Well, Mr. Chairman, I do not see Catherine Moorhead.
Okay, well, Mr. Jacobson,
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
To Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, an email message or anything delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
To Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Jacobson, yes, I did have email communication as well as telephone communication with Ms. Moorhead yesterday. She is well aware that today that we will be hearing dockets 11223 as well as 11323 on elevator violations.
In light of the appellant's communication with Ms. Davis, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that the board continue this for one more hearing, allowing the appellant an opportunity to be heard.
okay, we can do that. Ms. Davis, can you reschedule this for the next docket or whenever it can be? And I don't know, this would affect the 11323, Ms. Davis?
It would, did we want to see by them being an elevator, is there any risk to public safety, Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Jacobson or to Chief Building Official Tom Vanover?
Let me swear in Mr. Vanover. Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
You're muted, Tom.
Apologies, Mr. Chairman, I do, and, Mr. Chairman, I'm showing one violation notice for elevators, but you said there's two dockets?
Yes.
The violation notice that I have is V230-10782. Ms. Davis, is there an additional one?
So she has docket 11223. The first one is V230-10782 for docket 11223.
Hold on, slow down,
which is-
please.
Yeah,
So-
located 5604 Cedar Avenue.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Chairman, this elevator's been sealed. So,
Okay.
so there, we don't object to a continuance to try and come to a conclusion, with the understanding of no further continuances, because this elevator is currently sealed and, there's no indication that there's another elevator in this building.
Okay,
So
All
for
right.
docket 112, I will let you know when we will continue this one, probably later on in August. I will have
Okay.
to look at the schedule.
okay. And we just put a note that there won't be any continuances after that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, to Chief Building Official, is this property occupied? To be clear?
Yes. Yes, it is my understanding that this property is occupied. I'm attempting to look through the record to determine how many floors it is. And if you'll bear with me.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is a three-story building that has a singular elevator that has been put out of service for its hazards. So this is it's an apartment building that is occupied.
Okay,
I would ask, at this point, I would ask that you deny any more time, remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing, and then communicate to the appellate that they'll have an opportunity to speak before it's ratified in 2 weeks.
okay. Yeah, that might be better seen as there are people in there. Okay, all right, so a motion is in order to deny more time, remand it to the property division of building and housing for any further action. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Denk,
Second.
second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll hear from them. Okay, next docket is A113-23-2181 East 55th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is elevator, issued on April 25th of 2023. Appeal was received May 24th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record. As we already discussed, this structure, this owner is not present.
Okay, is this the same owner? Because it looks like there's two different people here. But you're saying they come underneath the same?
This is the same owner. This is in an estate. The owner, Robert Modak, is deceased, and the daughter, Catherine Moorhead, is the executor of the estate. She did
Okay.
submit documentation, giving her power of attorney over the properties.
Okay, so we I don't know if we need to hear from Mr. Jacobson again. Do we ask all the questions on this? It's the same owner.
Chairman, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, go ahead, Mr. Jacobson. Make your case.
Yes. And this is in specific to A113-23.
That is correct.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
To Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, email, message, voicemail, anything delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
To Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Jacobson, yes. I spoke with Ms. Moorhead yesterday via email as well as a telephone conversation. I informed her that her hearing was this morning at 9:30. And on her elevator violations, that I needed clarification on the power of attorney for these properties, that she did email me the clear copies of the power of attorney to present today.
Okay, and to the chairman, there was communication between Ms. Davis and the appellant, but this mirrors the previous docket of A112-23, both elevator violations. The board can continue the hearing for this hearing, push it back to later in August. However, the building is occupied. So it's law's position that this be denied and remanded with the caveat, with the understanding that the appellant would be given an additional opportunity to be heard.
Okay, Mr. Vanover, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God. See if he's muted.
Do.
Okay, you do.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, this is a 4-story building, and this elevator, and it is occupied, and this elevator has been ordered sealed. This building requires an elevator. One, because the one is installed, so it's required to operate as installed. Furthermore, the accessibility requirements of a four-story building require that not less than 50% of the means of egress be by way of elevator. So we ask that you deny this and remand it back to the department.
Okay, a motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Okay, motion by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Denk.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
We will also require that they be heard at some point by words of Mr. Jacobson. So I guess hopefully we can get in contact with them before the 2 weeks is up.
Mr. Chairman, if I, discussion, this board allows testimony at the ratification time.
Yes.
So if they decide to come, then, you know, we would not, I mean, we won't object to that, but we would object to any other postponements or any other, you know, time delays.
No, there won't be any. Like you said, they'll have their time before the 2 weeks are up to come in. Okay. All right, so that is provided for. They will be notified within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay, next docket is A4923, 4231 Woodbridge Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is fire damage. Issued on February 8th of 2023. Appeal was received March 8th of 2023. Requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Dan Jacobson, Law. With
Hello?
the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Mark Goodman.
Okay, Mr. Goodman, you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Well, there's my house after the fire, which was November 6th. As you see, I have all new windows. There were 16 windows smashed out by the firemen, and you can see the front window is still boarded up. That's because the living room is where the fire was located, and the window people can't put in the window until that room is brought up to snuff. So, you know, obviously, you know, I'm ready to roll. I've been waiting from the city to get permits, which I was just talking to my contractor on the line. He thinks he has them. It's all very confusing to me. Because on June 23rd, I had the architect make the required drawings, which went to the city. And I was told that they had 30 days to say yes or no, but something happened with the system, so it's still sort of in the works. But I'm ready to go. I love my house. I've lived there for 30 years, and I would like to move back in.
Okay, so you don't really have a timeline on when you think it would be completed, if they're ready to go?
I would say just to be safe, I would need a 6-month extension because we have to put in new walls, new ceilings, paint inside, paint outside, some plumbing work has to be done. So there's a lot to do. As I'm not a contractor, I can't tell you how much time, but you know, in this world of ours, there's always delays getting stuff and so forth. So I just want to play it safe. I mean, I was hoping that I'd be in there by September, but there were delays and delays and delays.
Okay, let's go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, this is an owner occupied structure that is There are permit applications in place. The permits for the windows have been issued. I will inform the appellant that there's been no inspections on the window permit, so you're going to want to make sure your contractor calls the inspector to make sure the work was done properly. And there's an application that was submitted at the end of June that there's going back and forth for approval. So the building permit is in process for review. We don't object to 180 days as an owner occupied structure.
Okay, very good. So we'll give you, motion is in order for February 2nd, 180 days, 2024 to abate all the violations. Motion? Moved by Mr. Bradley, I believe,
Yes.
Second.
second by Mr. Dink.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notification will be sent out to you within 2 weeks of the decision.
Sir,
Thank-
can I,
Yes, go ahead.
one thing, the window company, they told me that they took care of the permits for the windows.
Yeah, well,
Mr.
they-
Chairman, there is a permit. There's just not been an inspection.
There you
Oh.
go.
Okay, that's news to me. So what do I need to do?
You need to call your window company and tell them that you paid for a permit, you paid for inspections, and they need to get it inspected and closed out. And it's their
And-
responsibility to be present for the inspection, not yours.
Okay, well, perhaps it's because 3 windows still have to be put back in after the room is fixed up. So then it would be complete, and that, I guess, would be the time for the inspection when all the windows are in, if I'm not incorrect.
Mr. Chairman of the appellant, you are the client, you are the one paying them. My recommendation is that you call them and tell them that you want the windows that are in place inspected. And
Okay.
so that the inspector can log that inspection, and then when the rest of the work is done, then they can come back and inspect the other 3. You are in control, you are paying them.
Okay, I understand now.
Very good. Okay, you'll get a notification.
Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, next docket, A 5223, 8405 Medina Avenue.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance issued on February 15th of 2023. Appeal received March.
You went past Medina Avenue?
Yes.
1 second, please. Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is exterior maintenance issued February 15th of 2023. Appeal statement received March 9th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Is it Ms.
Underwood
Coleman?
Coleman. Underwood Coleman.
Underwood Coleman, okay. Mr. Coleman, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Say what now?
I said, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
Okay, thank
I
you.
do.
Go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
I didn't understand what you said.
We need to know how much time you need, what your plans are for the property.
See, I need some time. How much time can you give me? 'Cause right now, from the set out, I lost a lot of money. I had to pay over $3,000. I had to pay the bill to come out, and the house was full from the front to basement. It took me almost 2 weeks to get it clean, and I paid out a lot of money on that.
Okay, is this a rental property, or is it, do you live in the property? Homework?
Huh?
Did you live in the property or is this a rental?
It was rental property.
Rental property.
I had convicted a lady had been in there for over 2 years, from 91 up to 93. No. Yeah, huh? 2019. Huh? 2019. 2019. She had been in there since then.
Okay.
And I couldn't get out. I had her in court. Couldn't do nothing.
Okay. So she's out of there now?
She's out of there now.
Okay. And so I guess what we're looking for is that, taking a look at what the, what the notice is for exterior violations. And so, okay, let me go over to Mr. Vanover, see what their inspector's report is.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, this was cited as a rental property and for exterior violations, and it is there's a lot of work, so it's going to cost some money. But my question, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate is, what is your plans for the property? I mean, other than, do you plan to repair it? Do you plan to keep it? Do you plan to? Do you have the resources?
I'm planning on keeping it.
Okay. Okay, so do you?
I'm planning on repairing it.
Okay, and my next question, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate is, do you have the funding to do so?
Yes, I do.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I mean, we don't object to more time, but as a rental property, we ask for, a limited amount of time. I haven't actually heard a date, but we don't object to 90 days.
So you were looking at exterior, sir, and in probably 90 days, that's going to be maybe the extent of your weather. So that's probably about right.
Except for 90 days, and then we can go back to court.
Huh?
Except for 90 days, and then we just go back to court. We get started.
Well, how much time can I get?
Well, we're suggesting 90 days to complete the violations.
Okay. That's okay.
Okay. All right. So that would be looking at November 2nd, 90 days, 2023 to abate all the violations. Motion so in order.
Move.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Bradley, second by Mr. Maschke.
Mr. Bradley,
Yeah.
Mr. Maschke,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay. Notice is going to be sent out to you within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay. Next docket, A5323. And that is going to be 3115 West 58th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance. No permit. Issued on February 17th of 2023. Appeal statement received March 6th of 2023. Requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Alex Cacciola Jr.
See if I got that last name right. We got Alex
Cacciola.
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Cacciola.
Acciola. Okay. Mr. Acciola, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Go ahead and let us know what your plans are.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. The property was occupied up until July 15th by a hostile tenant. So getting access, one, the risk of getting access was a problem. Number two, I did not want to put work in and then have them potentially cause damages on the way out. They vacated the unit. With regards to the issues that didn't have permits, that was for work done by the prior owner. Because I did not know when they would vacate the premises, I could not get, contractors on the books for a start date, but I do now. So I would kindly request 90 days so that I can remediate the issues. And I would not be opposed to keeping the unit vacant, obviously, during that time.
Okay, so 90 days is what you're saying to complete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we have no objection with the understanding that the unit will be, that the exterior will be cleaned up immediately and that the unit will remain vacant until the violations are corrected. And
Okay.
of course, proper permits pulled for the work completed.
You can take care of the exterior, Mr. Chairman. That's not a problem.
Okay, so you need to get the permits for the work that was completed before, and then where there were no permits, I guess, and we're going to give you till November 2nd, 90 days, 2023, to abate all the violations and also to make sure that the property is cleaned up immediately in front and kept tidy. Motion so in order?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Mr. Dank, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink, Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you. Okay, next docket, 85423, 1416 East 40th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is interior and exterior maintenance issued on February 17th of 2023. Appeal was received February 14th of 2023 to request for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Will the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Attorney Yan Liang, first name Y-A-M, last name L-I-A-N-G, for the appellant.
Okay, Ms. Leon, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and let us know how much, what your plans are.
Yes. Dear chamber members, my client, ever since they received the notice of violation, they has already hired people to fix the problem. Actually, on July 14, 2023, the inspector, Ms. Garrett, has already come and inspect the premises. Most of the violations are correct and is done. We arranged a final inspection yesterday, August 1st, 2023, from 1 to 2. We received a phone call yesterday. The inspector need to cancel that appointment due to some family emergency. So we have another inspection appointment set this Friday, August 4th, 2023, from 2 to 3. And last night, I has already submitted the document to show all the remaining violations are fixed, ready for the inspector to come and take a look.
Okay, so you really don't need a lot of time, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, let me go over to Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we don't object to 30 days.
Okay, so we're gonna give you 30 days to complete the violations, take care of them. That would be to September 2nd, 2023 to abate all the violations. Motion is in order.
Move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Maskey.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate.
Okay, next docket. A12523, 1744 East 47th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is a condemnation of the main structure. issued on June 9th of 2023. Appeal was received June 20th of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violations. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
My name is Gary Cook, and I represent VJ Homes.
Okay, Mr. Cook, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
I did not receive anything from the owners for Mr. Cook to represent them today.
I have the owner right here.
I'm here. I'm the owner.
Okay, the owners are there present. Who's the owner?
I'm the owner, Vladimir Fabriks,
Okay,
owner of VK Homes.
okay, and you're
Who's
okay.
the owner?
Yeah, Mr. Fabrice, he's the owner.
That's not who we have.
So I have my wife also. She is also
Okay.
She is calling.
Yeah.
She looks familiar.
My name is
Okay,
Okay.
Yan.
okay, and so we can swear in Mr. Cook, who's going to be doing the talking, I believe. And the owners
Yes,
are
that's
present.
That's correct.
Okay, well, in case, all three of you, in case somebody's gonna join in and say something, so all of you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
We do.
Okay, very
do.
good.
I do.
All right, go ahead, if it's Mr. Cook that's gonna be speaking.
Yes, we have list of violations, and the violations were cited on the 8th of June, and I mean the inspection was done on the 8th of June, and the violations were issued the very next day on the 9th. And essentially what has occurred is the owner has spoken to Mr. Conover, and the big issue was the foundation and shoring up the foundation of the property. And that has been done. And what we would like to do is to have an additional inspection. And one of the issues that has occurred in reference to the violations, because there was a condemnation order on the Building and Housing Department would not issue permits to do the corrections that were listed in the violations. So we request that if it's doable, is that the condemnation order be voided, and that the owners get an opportunity to do the corrections and give us a period of time. Perhaps if we could request that the period of time to do the corrections would be 90 days, and then have a reinspection done after the period of time for the correction of the violations passes.
Okay, let me go over to Mr. Vanover on all that and see what he has to say.
Mr. Chairman, to Ms. Davis, can you provide me the violation number before us? Because there's several complaints and violations on this property.
To Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Vanover. V as in Victor, 230-15098.
Thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, in response to the appellate, let me go back to the photos. In response to the appellate's testimony, this property is condemned. We issue permits on condemned properties all the time, providing, of course, that the requirements are made, and those requirements require building permits, electrical permits, plumbing permits, and HVAC permits. The condition of this property, the photos speak for themselves. It is collapsing. I mean, the foundation is deteriorated and gone, and we I mean, it speaks for itself. We would ask that you deny any more time, remand it back to the Department of Building and Housing and, for further action. This structure would need a structural evaluation from an engineer. It would require, all, new electrical, new plumbing. And, as you can see from the photographs, it is actually a hazard. So there
Okay.
is a path to do exactly what the appellant wants, but it would require them to engage a design professional and to submit the required documents to bring it out of condemnation, which would include an engineering report and detailed plans for the repair.
Okay, so, and yeah, that makes perfect sense. So just asking for the condemnation to go away, that doesn't happen. I mean, it's issued for a reason, sir. And so I would tend to agree with what the city is saying. I'm not sure that you have a full understanding of
Mr. Chair,
the nature of what you're dealing with here. You
Mr.
say
Chairman, can I speak?
you can go ahead.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm contractor. So I'm also engineer for my education. Okay. So what happens? There is no structural damage to the property. This used to be window over there, and the window is just missing the window. There is no falling foundation. The foundation wall is perfectly fine. So what happened? I meet Inspector O'Connell. So basically what happened in June 8th, Mr. O'Connell, Inspector O'Connell visited the property, okay? And very next day, they request me to abate the violation. I get 24 hours, even less than 24 hours to repair. Okay, so I met Mr. O'Connell next week, 3 days later. Okay, and we go with him on a property, and I show him everything, okay? And he agreed with me. There is no problem with foundation, and there is no problem with the roof. The roof is perfect condition. I request just re-inspect the property, and we get much better understanding what's going on, because the picture, it's lying.
Well, looking at the
So
pictures, because they're showing the pictures here, and it looks
Yeah,
like a
this used to
condemned
be-
building. I mean, that would be
No,
my assessment. I
Mr.
mean,
Chairman,
it's that looking at the side of it, it's not looking good. Now, if you're saying those aren't the pictures, I don't know, of the property, and it
Mr.
doesn't look like that.
Mr. Chairman, this is current condition of the property. Do you think it's condemned? Do you think it's need to be demolished?
No,
Mr. Chairman,
it doesn't need to be demolished. It needs to be corrected.
But
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this what city request from me, emergency demolition. This what happened.
okay, hold
They-
on.
The city
What-
issue order of emergency demolition. This is why I try to prevent it. With expense of $15,000.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, hold on just a minute. Go ahead, Mr. Maskey.
I concur with the city and Mr. Vanover. I think this building should be remanded. If this gentleman is a licensed contractor and can do the work, he has the ability to then work with the city. And if he can work to satisfy the city on the city's timeline to complete these violations. So I think we should make a motion to uphold the resolution and remand it back to the city. And the owner and this contractor can work with the city to make the necessary corrections.
No, that is correct. So it doesn't change anything, Mr. Fribbles. So we are going to make a motion as in order to deny more time,
Mr.
remand the
Chairman,
property to the Division of Building and Housing for any further action. And you can still go through everything that you're saying that you're going to do. It's not a problem. Motion is in
Mr.
order.
Chairman,
Mr.
Yes.
Chairman,
Hold on.
I need to make a clarification. This property was condemned, and it was condemned as a CBO emergency order, meaning that the city is actively seeking to raise this structure. There is a demo contract in place and a demolition permit in place to raise this structure based on the conditions of the foundation and the fact that it's subject to immediate failure. So just to be clear, that we're seeking that you remand it for the, with the understanding that it will be raised as an emergency.
Mr. Chairman to Mr. Vanover, I have if the appellant is able to get you a plan to repair this within 2 weeks, would the city be able to work with him to salvage the home?
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Maskey, if that's what the board requested, but these pictures don't even do it justice. This thing it's actively failing. And if I may, Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, to the owner, how long have you owned this property?
Mr. Chairman, I own this property for less than 1 year, okay? The property structure is sound. There is nothing.
No, Mr. Chair,
with
if I could just
property.
get my question answered. So, you've owned this for less than a year.
Yes.
Okay, so, well, Mr. Chairman, this didn't happen overnight. I mean, this has been actively in this condition in the neighborhood. So to Mr. Maskey, to your point, if the board requires that we give them 2 weeks, then we will. But otherwise, we are prepared to raise this structure before it falls on the house next door.
I am very concerned with that, and just in looking at these photographs.
Can I just?
And excuse me, sir, you had enough time to talk.
Yeah.
And looking at these photographs and getting into weather when we're going to start getting rain and then some soils that are going to go bad, that could happen. And I'd be willing to give him 2 weeks to get a plan to the city to salvage the home. But if there is an urgency to do that, then I think we should let the city proceed in raising the home.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson had a comment.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
And to the
Mr.
chairman,
can I speak, please?
1 second.
and
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, law would ask that the appeal be denied, the citation upheld, and the matter be immediately remanded to the Department of Building Housing to take further action. And through the chairman to the appellant and/or owner, the city would ask that you provide some kind of documentation to Ms. Davis to show your authority to act on behalf of the business owner and/or entity. Mr. Fabris, I believe, you stated your position as a contractor. If you could just, through the chairman to the appellants, provide some documentation to this board and/or Ms. Davis regarding your authority to act and give testimony on behalf of the owner. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I speak for another minute?
Go ahead, Mr. Fabris.
So, Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Inspector O'Connell, okay, very next day, and he asked me to go and he allowed me to go and pull permits and repair it, okay? So I went to the city and pull permits. I've been denied to pull permits based on demolition, but I still did perform emergency repairs, and currently the foundation, what is the main issue here, is already been fixed. Okay, so I just asking the building department send the inspector and re-inspect this property again to get clear picture what's going on, because the property is already been repaired. Took me about 4 hours to repair it. Okay, it's not big issue. The foundation wall didn't fail. It used to be window over there, and just window is just disappeared. Okay,
Chairman,
so over the time.
At this point, I would like to, because the appellant is objecting to the notice of violation, I would like to make the record straight to show that the photos before you show that there's no foundation under the rim board in the photograph in the middle on the top. It also shows that there is obvious sagging of the structure on the photo top right. The photo bottom right shows that the window that was missing, but that's not even the point that we're discussing. Although that foundation is deteriorated. And then if you look at the bottom middle photograph, you'll see that the piers supporting the structure, the wall that is left, is also cracked and leaning. And then finally, the bottom left continues to show that there's no exterior wall or anything supporting the foundation. And even the floor members in that photograph are rotted. We would ask that you deny any more time and you uphold the violation notice as properly issued. That's important. And that and you remand it to us. This structure is in danger of collapse, and we ask that I don't know what work has been done to satisfy this. It's not inspected work. It's not approved work. And and I'm sure it wasn't the replacement of the floor joists and everything that is required. This is an emergency that appears to be roughly 3 feet away from another home.
Okay.
This is current condition.
We can't see that, sir.
So can I
Okay.
just ask Mr. Vanover personally, come and check the structure? Did you visit the property personally?
Mr. Chairman,
and
I object. I've got reports and photographs from a state certified 30-year inspector identifying this as an emergency. And I evaluated the file. I evaluated his concerns and issued the emergency demolition.
Okay. Okay, I think we have heard from both sides, and we've heard from another board member, and I tend to agree here that given the photos that we're seeing here, and that you don't have any photos showing everything fixed, I say that I uphold the violation notice, and a motion is in order to deny more time and remand the property Division of Building and Housing for any further action. Motion is in order.
Move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Bradley.
Second.
Okay, one more.
So hold on,
point there.
second by Mr. Dink.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, you're going to be notified within 2 weeks of the decision. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay. Next docket, A12823, 3564 East 118th Street.
Application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is a condemnation of the main structure issued May 24th of 2023. Appeal received June 22nd of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. Would the appellant or his or her attorney or representative please state your name for the record?
Raymond Simmons.
See, who, give me that last name again?
Simmons.
Simmons?
Mhm.
Okay.
SIMMONS.
Okay, solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, let us know what your plans are.
So my plans are to repair the home and abate the violations to bring them up to compliance. I reached out to several contractors, and I finally found a few. There's a couple of different violations for various things. So it's more than one contractor that will be needed. So far, basically, I've had to make the premises safe for anybody to come in and work. So I've been battling removal of groundhogs and skunks and possum from the outside perimeter, as well as like trash, tires, and construction waste that has been dumped there. So getting that all out and, allowed me to cut the grass and whatnot and keep that maintained and make it safe for anybody to come in and work. So that's what I've been doing.
So this was a rental property at one time?
Actually, no.
Okay.
It was my home. I left because of safety reasons. The neighborhood is just not what it used to be. It's flooded with drug addicts. And so we had several break-ins. A friend of mine who was a police officer asked to move in after I left the house. And I let him stay there for a while. Then they broke in and robbed him several times. And when he was away for a few weeks because he was sick in the hospital, they broke in and took the main appliances out, like the furnace and water heater and things like that, and the pipes. So it's a rough area.
Okay, so do you have, number one, do you have the funds to, and I understand this property is in condemnation, which means you need everything. Do you have the funds to fix this up?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And
how much time?
I'm working with, I was dealing with the contractors. I'm going to say at least 180 days. And if I can stay in contact with the city to, come in and kind of look in between that time, possibly.
Yeah, you can call
that's
for
fine.
inspection.
Yeah. And I asked the inspector to work with me on that, because he does realize too that it's going to take time to actually do all the work.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, we need permits in place before the inspectors can monitor the project. I unfortunately don't, as a city, I don't have the resources to just continue to re-inspect property that are, until there's permits in place and they're working toward that end. So we don't object to 180 days, with the expectation that within 30 days, the permits are pulled and all 4 permits, and that the plan approval has been approved, and that the inspector can monitor the conditions of the property.
Okay, so a motion is in order to allow to September 2nd, 30 days, 2023, to obtain all 4 permits required, and to February 2nd, 180 days, 2024, to abate all the violations. Motion?
So moved.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Dank, second by Mr. Vanover. I mean, by Mr. Maskey.
Not yet,
You know-
not yet, Mr. Gallagher.
You don't
Not yet.
oppose Mr. Vanover, but I'm so, second by Mr. Maskey.
Not foreshadowing.
Mr. Bradley. Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes.
I think I just got a
Okay.
job offer.
He's, Mr. Maskey's been accusing me of calling him Mr. Bradley and Mr. Dank. I wonder how he liked that one.
Hey, Tom, the pay's really, really good.
Okay, notification will be sent out within 2 weeks.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you much.
Okay. Now we got a vacant lot, docket A 4823, 7266 Wentworth Avenue.
application and fees are in order. Notice of violation is a no permit issued on February 1st of 2023. Appeal received March 3rd of 2023, requesting for time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh. Mr. Chairman, I do not see Timothy Rubley in the participants panel.
Okay. Well, Mr. Vanover solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
Do.
Okay, Mr. Jacobson.
Through the chairman to Ms. Davis, did notice of today's hearing get returned to the board's file for any reason?
To Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Jacobson, no.
And through the chairman to Ms. Davis, have you received any form of communication, email, voice message, or anything delivered to you on behalf of this appellant and or docket?
To Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Jacobson, no.
Okay, and to the chairman, due process requirements of notice have been given. The board can proceed with this hearing and its ruling today. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
So, Mr. Chairman, this is the site of a previous municipal demolition. And structure, the main structure was previously demolished. And it appears that based on the photographs and the information, the appellate has just built their storage building on the property without permits, without approval, without a review. And I'm not even clear that there's been no, this is a structure that requires permits and plan review. So we ask that you deny any more time and remand it back. The appellant can still get permits for what he's done. And there's no applications made in the system since the notice of violation was issued at the beginning of February.
Okay. Oh, motion is in order to deny more time, remand the property to Division of Building and Housing for any further actions. Motion,
So moved.
Mr. Maskey.
Second.
Second, Mr. Dink.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Okay, a notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Okay, next docket is A5023 and its extension. Let's see, it's at 740 East 125th Street.
Application and fees are in order. This is an extension of time from the original docket of 136-22, which was a notice of condemnation of the main structure that was issued on August 26th of 2022. This appeal was received on March 8th of 2023, requesting for additional time to abate the violation. Present for the hearing. Tom Vanover, Building and Housing. Dan Jacobson Law. With the appellant or his or her attorney or representative, please state your name for the record.
Yes, this is Brian Farkas of Vorey, Sater, Seymour and Peace on behalf of Community Loan Servicing.
Okay, Mr. Farkas, do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
it is my understanding that the bill subject violations and structures have been abated and the structures have been demolished, and these are now vacant lots in compliance.
Okay, Mr. Vanover.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellant, were there permits pulled for the demolitions of the structures?
I've got to believe so. I don't have personal knowledge of that, but it's not the, I would be shocked if they weren't.
Same. Mr. Chairman, I have no record of any permits being pulled for the demolition of any structures on this property.
Okay, so we're gonna have to find out.
Mr. Chairman, to the appellate, would there be another address used?
I know there were, I believe this was a child daycare center and there were two. There might have been a couple structures, but I believe there's only one parcel number. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Davis?
to,
Yeah, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, to Mr. Vanover. I think it is some confusion, or it was multiple known address for this property. It might also be known as 12401 Breckland Avenue. Permit number B 23004658.
Okay, bear with me. Can you give me that Breckland address again?
12401. B as in boy, R as in Robert, A as in Apple, C as in Charlie, K as in King, L as in Lincoln, A as in Apple, N as in Nick, D as in David.
Okay. So, Mr. Chairman, provided that information, there was a permit pulled for the demolition of the structures on the address known as 12401 Breckland Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio 44108. And for the record, that number is B as in building 23004658. And the status of that permit is work completed as of 4/11/2023.
Okay, so should we give today's date as a completion? Violations closed out?
Bear with me 1 second. Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is acceptable.
Okay, so motion is in order that we have August 2nd, 2023 for all violations to be completed. So, motion?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Maskey,
Second.
Mr. Dank.
Mr. Bradley, Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next docket is an adjudication order building docket A 14123.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have to recuse myself from this item.
Okay, 1501 Euclid Avenue, and Mr. Denk is recused.
Application and fees are in order. This is an adjudication order. Where is it? Present for the hearing, Tom Vanover, Building and Housing, Dan Jacobson, Law. We do have individuals from the Division of Fire here. If you can please state your name for the record.
Captain Dave Pelvin, Lieutenant Tom McGowan.
We do also have the appellants online as well. If you can please state your name for the record and your capacity.
Tom Einhaus, Vice President of Facilities and Capital for Playhouse Square, representing the ownership of Playhouse Square Foundation.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well,
There's a couple of us here if you want us all to chime in with who we are.
yeah, well, okay, we'll do that. We'll swear all of you in at one time. Solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, so help you God.
I do.
I do.
Okay, let's let's go ahead and who's ever going to be doing the speaking. Go ahead and let us know.
Yes, I'd like to provide some background on the project and then turn it over.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, Ms. Davis is going to need everybody's name that plans to speak.
Yeah,
And preliminarily, you're also going to, you only have 3 board members present, so you're going to have to provide the disclaimer on the unanimous decision requirement.
Okay, that is correct, because we have 1 recused. So
Right.
because we only have 3 board members, which means that if our decision is not unanimous, which it usually is, then your appeal goes back to the city. And if for that reason you prefer not to have your case heard, then let me know when, well, we've already called your case, but let me know if you'd rather reschedule your case. So now would be the time that you would need to do that, unless you are okay with us hearing it.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. They need to finish introducing themselves, who all is gonna speak, because you kind of cut them off.
I did, okay.
Yes.
So each one that's gonna speak, go ahead and say your name clearly, and so she can record it.
Tom Einhouse, Einhouse.
And then I am Melissa Spires, Spires, with Berardi Partners. We're the architect on the project.
Robert Sustar, mechanical engineer with Denk Associates, engineer on the project.
I believe that's all we have speaking today.
Okay, very good. Go ahead. Is it Mr. Einhouse? Are you the one that's speaking at this time?
Yes, I'd like to provide some background on the project, if I may.
Yes, proceed.
Playhouse Square acquired the Bulkley building at 1501 Euclid Avenue in 1999. During the time of our ownership, it was pretty much fully occupied as an office building. In the past probably 5 years, we had lost some major tenancy. Gallagher Sharp, which occupied 3 floors of the building, moved out. Some other miscellaneous tenants throughout the building moved out. And we were faced with, what do we do with the building? Because we own it, it's integral to the operation of the Playhouse Square Center theaters. Our administrative offices are in this building that we renovated in 2017. And we made a decision to occupy 4 floors of the building with residential. This is going to be market rate residential that will also provide housing for performers and actors with our resident companies and visiting the theaters. So in those 84 units are a number of units to support that. The top 2 floors are going to be occupied by Dixon Eaton, which is a marketing firm that will be coming into occupancy in late 24, early 25. The balance of the building again is our occupancy on the 2nd floor and multi-tenant occupancy on the 3rd floor, retail on the 1st floor, and then basement space. In addition to the residential and the build out for Dixon Eaton, we'll also be making an investment on complete facade renovation on the Euclid facade, and then the secondary and tertiary facades as needed. That work will go on over the next year. That work is going to be performed by WR Restoration, and they will be working with the city to secure all the permits for that. Additionally, we are modernizing all of the elevators. The elevators are right now a 1950s vintage. I think they're the oldest operating of that system, Selectomatic, GE Selectomatic. We're going to be replacing those over the next 18 months. And that work is also scheduled to be completed by the end of next year. So our intention is that by December of 24, we will be bringing in the new occupants, the residential, as well as Dixon Eaton. We are working with Berardi Partners, and I will now defer to them if there's no questions on the adjudication order.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before they get started, just to lay some groundwork for the adjudication itself.
Okay.
So this was, it's an existing building that is an historic building. I don't know if it's an individual landmark or in a historic district, but it is significant, the structure itself. The building code requires that all structures that that consist of a residential use to be sprinklered throughout. This is an existing building with existing occupants where the use of the upper floors is being changed to residential, and as such, the code requires that the building be sprinklered throughout. The hardship presented by the appellates is that they have spaces that are currently occupied, not set for renovation, and the hardship of sprinklering those spaces with this change of use is why they're seeking, this is a variance from the requirements of the code to sprinkle the building throughout at the time of occupancy. But it is my understanding that they expect to make some concessions and some commitments as part of their variance request.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Continue now.
Yes.
This is Robert Sustar, mechanical engineer with the project. Just to give some background and cut to the chase, as Mr. Vanover stated, what is being proposed is that the project would provide sprinkler coverage throughout the entire building, except to request a delayed and future installation of sprinkler systems on the existing occupied second floors. Spaces would be provided with sprinkler coverage when they are renovated in the future. Real quick, the Bulkley building is part of the Playhouse Square complex. Was constructed in 1921. Based on the building height, this building is classified as a high-rise, except for having nearly full sprinkler coverage in the basement, which you can see in the cyan-colored area of the screen. The building has been it is also currently has some dry standpipes in the stairwells. Currently, the building is business occupancy with some restaurant assembly space on the first floor. The adaptive reuse project that we're speaking about today would cause a change of use for floors 4 through 7. Those floors would become residential R2 apartments. The remaining floors, basement through 3rd and 8 through 9, would maintain their existing occupancy classifications. As Tom noted, what we're seeking is a variance to OBC 9.3.11, which states that the building should be sprinkled throughout. This is usually summarized as providing sprinkler coverage in every place and every space. The permit submission of the plans has resulted in this adjudication. So as submitted, the proposed plans do include sprinkler coverage in all the areas that will be renovated, including all the residential occupancy floors. The proposed plan also includes coverage on all floors above the residential occupancy, which include floors 8 and 9. Those will remain as business occupancy and include the offices of Dix and Eaton. The submitted and proposed plans include sprinkler protection on the 3rd floor, which is immediately below the residential occupancy. Also, the proposed plans include sprinkler protection in all the egress stairwells, as well as standpipes all the way up through the building. We would also provide sprinkler coverage along the first floor lobby area leading to the exit of the building. Again, this appeal is to request to allow for future sprinkler coverage on the first floor and on the second floor offices, which are currently occupied by Playhouse Square themselves. There are existing office tenants in those spaces, and adding sprinkler systems to those spaces at this time would be a challenge and a disruption to their operation. Again, the building is 102 years old and has not been protected with sprinkler coverage in the past. The intent of this project is to make the building significantly safer than it currently is. The project, in addition to the sprinkler systems, will add automatic wet standpipes throughout the stair pipes. It'll add a electrically powered fire pump, which is connected to an emergency power system. And we'll also be adding stairwell pressurization throughout the egress stairwells. And future renovation of the remaining unprotected areas would be required to add sprinklers protection when those spaces are renovated. So again,
alarm system? Is there an
there'll be an all new fire alarm system throughout.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Sestar, what is the floor construction?
The building is a 1B construction, non-combustible. The floors and walls are mostly the clay tile.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Mr. Suster.
That about concludes my my summary there. Again, I'm just going to say that what we're asking for is a variance to allow for future delayed installation of sprinkler systems on those existing spaces on the first and second floor.
And
knowing that we're
okay, and so you're looking at some point it will all be sprinkled?
correct.
Yes, as those spaces that we are seeking a variance on are renovated, those will have to be brought up to the same code.
Okay. All right, Mr. Vanover?
So, Mr. Chairman, to the appellates, are there any pending plans to renovate those areas?
So a few of the spaces are vacant, and there are several spaces that there are plans under development to renovate those areas. Obviously, other spaces, I think on the first floor, there are no specific plans. Some of the restaurants on the first floor, there are no specific plans to renovate those spaces at this time. And on the second floor, occupied by Playhouse Square themselves, those offices were renovated in 2017. At this time, there's no current plan to renovate that floor.
So do your plans include, okay, so the vacant spaces that you spoke of, there is an expectation to sprinkler those as part of this project, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because the expectation is, the hardship is that there's occupied spaces, and it would make it difficult to sprinkler them at this time. So our expectation for this variance is that all spaces part of the renovation, as well as spaces that are vacant, will be sprinklered as part of this project, leaving only those that are currently occupied. At the end of this project, what percentage of the building do you, if you know, will be unsprinkled?
With the calculations that we have right now, that would be 21%, but that does not include the vacant tenants on the first floor. So if we go ahead and sprinkler those vacant tenants on the first floor, that number would go down a little bit.
Okay, so we would like just understanding that that's the commitment we would be seeking, is that the vacant tenants, because there's no hardship to doing that.
Okay.
And then my next question is the corridors and any comments. So there's the public or the Playhouse offices that were just redone. There's no sprinkler going in any of those corridors or lobbies for those spaces.
We are proposing to put sprinklers in part of the lobby or the corridor on the second floor because it is open to the first floor at that monumental stair.
And by open,
that
you mean,
area.
is it fire separated? The open, there's a portion that's open, but the rest is fire separated?
Correct. Yes, we will be adding fire separation to the rest of the floor to maintain that area.
Okay. And then my final question is, do you have, I'm going to assume, and I could be wrong, my assumption is that the spaces that are being converted to residential use from business use, that would create a reduction in occupant load. Just strictly based on the
Right.
calculations. Do you have that net reduction in occupant load?
I don't have the number in front of me, no. I can tell you there's only 21 units per floor. And our square footage per floor is 18,070.
So 18, so if we use fuzzy math, 18,000 square feet divided by 100 square feet per person, that is 180 people on that
Right.
floor. 21 units, assuming 5 persons per unit, gives us to a number less than 180.
Correct.
So there will be a net reduction in occupant load.
Correct.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We want to hear from fire. Captain?
With fire. What is preventing you from doing the hydraulic calculations and plans for those spaces that
We're having a hard time hearing you, Captain.
You're muted.
What is preventing you from submitting plans with the hydraulic calcs and coverage for the areas that you're not sprinklering at this time?
Captain, your volume is awfully low. We're having a hard time hearing you.
The question, I'll repeat the question because I can hear him pretty good. The question is, his question was, what's preventing you from providing the hydraulic calculations for those areas that will not be sprinklered today? But my expectation would be that the sizing of the sprinkler system and the hydraulic calculations for everything would have been submitted. Is there a misunderstanding there?
No, we agree with that. Yeah.
I think that's an agreeable condition.
So so Lieutenant McGowan, the expectation is that as submitted, the sprinkler plans for what is going to be sprinklered will also include capacity and calculations for every space in every place.
Correct. And the automatic standpipe, the automatic wet standpipe also.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so I guess my question is, do fire have any more questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Lieutenant Alexiak, Mr. Chair.
Again, that's going to be low. You're going to have to translate for us.
We didn't hear you, Lieutenant.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Chair, Lieutenant Alexiak to Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Suster, your video cutout of the audio froze up a little bit when you were going through the sections that are going to be covered and not covered initially. Did you say it was going to be the second and third floor that would initially not have coverage in the first phase?
It would be just the first floor and second floor that would not be covered.
First and second,
The
okay.
third floor all the way up to the top would be covered.
Okay. And then the areas you showed that were shaded in red in the basement and first floor. Can you go back to that picture or plan?
Yeah, so those spaces in the basement is largely already has sprinkler coverage. We did, in doing due diligence, find a couple spaces that we felt needed coverage added. So that's the red area in the basement is areas that we were going to add coverage to the basement.
Right.
On the first floor, the area shaded in red is where we're going to add coverage on the first floor to cover the path of egress.
Okay, on this plan view, or this view that we're seeing right here on sheet F100, the red shaded part for the basement plan, the upper left, we have aqua and red.
Yep.
That red part is what is that, the electrical vault and something else?
That's a small office in the back corner, and then there's a utility service chase down that west side of the building where somebody can actually walk down up and down through there. It's about 6 or 7 feet wide. So right now there aren't sprinklers in there, and we're going to add sprinkler protection in that area.
Okay, and then the aqua space shaded.
The aqua space is the portion of the basement that is currently protected.
Okay, thanks. And then if we go over to the right on the first floor plan, was that the main lobby or corridor that was being discussed?
Correct.
Okay, I just need to get that clear. It would help in the event for if you guys include with this some sort of either a sectional or plan view that actually illustrates the what we just discussed here of the first and second floor not being initially covered. Or just so your plans have it with the record as well.
Understood.
Yeah, anything that's in white still on these plans is the area that will not be covered. Blue is existing sprinkler coverage, and pink or red is what we are proposing in this project. So
Understood. This is great. If we can if you can include an elevation view or a sectional, cross-sectional view that shows the overall height of the building.
Yep.
Just for pictures worth 1,000 words. This is for every inspector for the life of this building as we move forward, and understanding that they will eventually be sprinklered, but I don't want hold up either on the plans review side or on our inspection side, whether it be in building and housing or fire prevention.
Understood. Thank you.
Not to mention for building ownership, they'll need it for their record. Just helps. Your description was very clear though, with your response to the adjudication and the variance or the appeal.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other questions? Everybody's good with what they're seeing here, and we're not getting any hard objections against the variance going through, with the caveat of all the things that Lieutenant Oleksiak, I'm going to say that right. Oleksiak, how's that? I did it. Okay.
Lieutenant Jim, Mr. Chairman, it's a lot easier.
Lieutenant Jim, okay, that's what you get. Okay, now we got the Oleksiak, not a problem. So with the drawings being provided, et cetera, that stating everything that's going to be done here and when it's going to be done. And so with all that in mind, I'm going to form a motion to that, with that, and maybe even with Mr. Vanover joining in here on making sure I don't miss anything. But so considering the drawings, the facts in the case, and what in the testimony given, we would go ahead and grant the variance to the code to proceed with the project. This motion is so in order.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Maskey.
Second.
Second, okay. We got second by Mr. Bradley.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, the notice will be sent out within 2 weeks. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, committee and members of the city.
Okay, see, our next order of business is going to be resolutions as soon as I find them. Approval of revolution. Let's see. Okay, we got A120 22, A176 22, A38 23, 39 23, 40 23, 41 23, 42 23, 43 23, A44 23, A46 23, A91 23, A111 23, A116 23. Motion is in order.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Maskey. Oh, and Mr. Dankson. Okay.
I'm back.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Okay, and approval of the minutes for July 19, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections?
No.
Motion.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Bradley,
Second.
second by Mr. Dank.
Mr. Maskey,
Yes.
Mr. Bradley,
Yes.
Mr. Dink,
Yes.
Mr. Gallagher.
Yes. Is there any further business to come before us?
No.
Hearing none, okay. We are adjourned.
Have a good